to the Sports Mom Playbook.
Welcome to the Sports Mom Playbook, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes with real moms and industry experts for all things sports to help you start or make more use of your time on and off the field.
Get ready for this binge-worthy podcast with some special guest appearances. Laugh along and join us in what we love doing, celebrating the true MVPs of the game, moms.
Let's do this.
Hi, friends. Thank you so much for joining us today at the Sports Mom Playbook. My name is Rachel.
And I'm Yuritsa.
And we have a very special guest today, a gentleman that has so many personalities, is doing all the fun things. Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Paul.
Woohoo! Welcome, Mark.
Hi.
Hi.
We have to act like we weren't just talking for 20 minutes. Oh my God, it's so good to see you guys. Wow.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm actually I'm a lot more organized in 2025, and it keeps the stress. There's still stress, but it's like I'm better. For almost 5 years with this.
Yeah.
I'm figuring it out now, and most people just see videos, but my gosh, there's 98% of it is behind the scenes. So, but no, things are good. It's a good start to 2025.
Well, we're happy to have you on today, and since we met you, I think now it's been a year. Is it 2 years?
About a year and a half or so.
So since we met you, we just have always followed you. And I know when you started, it was really about your videos, and that's how you kind of skyrocketed. But Mark Paul and the brand is so much more. So why don't you go ahead and get into that and tell us a little bit about what you have going on?
Well, I just started a new OnlyFans. No, I'm lying. I've got
Dead.
I have started a lot of things. I'm doing my mp3baseball.com travel ball merchandise, which really has been kind of with me since day one. And that's getting upgraded now. But it's hard to. It takes time. A lot of stuff going on overseas, trying to get bigger quantities of things, better products. Where all I want to do is have affordable stuff that's well made, that's not breaking the bank. That trickled off into Solero Shades, which is the premium sunglasses brand that's just we're just building that still, and it's doing really, really well. And I've got MLB players wearing glasses now, and college kids. But there's a lot of sunglasses companies out there, but that's really, you Google baseball sunglasses, we're at the top of the list, and a lot of ads involved with that, a lot of other people involved. Everybody's really high at level of what they do in that part of it. And I'm just a co-owner of that, but I really think that's going to be a big deal here in the next couple of years, because we can see the numbers, and it's neat to see that. But it's a lot with that, a lot of website stuff, a lot of ads, and whatnot, and different people you're working with, and trying to get, athletes to get stuff. And then here recently, I got to really thinking about, those videos, and I was like, well, everybody cares so much about the videos. I can't do those for the rest of my life. And so I wanted to have something that kind of mattered. And so I coached kids for, 8-9 years throughout different states, just because my son played everywhere. I had friends before the baseball stuff where they were like, hey, would you coach? All the teams that I coached, there were kids that I didn't know, and parents I didn't know. And I was able to meet them over a weekend, figure out where the kids played, get them in some positions, and we always did well. We won a lot of tournaments, and parents were happy, kids were happy, and we just kind of stayed in touch with a lot of these people. Well, then with the stuff going on with me, as I started getting, bigger, you started meeting more people, and you start doing some more of these coaching things. I just said, well, what if you just kind of put all of the top players that you've met over the last, 10 years on a team, and just put your brand on it, and the sunglasses and the companies that you've met, and like Stinger's doing uniforms and stuff, and then play them. Well, it's very difficult to be me with a team and just go somewhere without getting a lot of attention. So I did it in the past, and it was hard because, we went to East Cobb and when we were younger, and I got beat up on real good because they were like, man, Mark's here. And all of our teams with a bunch of pictures, and let him see those kids. And so I was like, wow. And then, so as time went on, they're 13 now. My son plays on it because, he should be on a team. It's a very high-level team. I was like, well, let's just take him to some of these Grand Slam tournaments that I've been going to, because I've been going around the country for all of 2024. Really over the last few years, but specifically Grand Slam, I was able to promote a lot of their tournaments. Sold out all the tournaments throughout all the different states in the SEC, I call it.
That's
The
awesome.
southeastern parts of the United States. They all had me back this year, but now I'm not able to just work with them. I'm able to work with a whole bunch of different, organizations. So I took those teams to some of those tournaments. And I partnered with a guy in Tennessee named Alex Vaughn that's become a really good friend of mine. He's a really good coach, and we've got all these kids from different parts of the country, and we merged them together, and we played in tryouts in these little tournaments. And they did well, but it was like, I didn't want to start off at a higher level. I said, let me just start off at a smaller level and just build this team camaraderie, and it worked. So then we went to different higher level tournaments, and then as that happened, more people were like, hey, listen, are you going to do other age groups? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I started meeting some people, and they were like, hey, I like to coach the 14U team. I like to do a 9U team. I do a 12U team. So that's all being done right now. They're making uniforms for those teams. I haven't posted it yet, but they're these scout teams. Well, then these other teams were like, hey, can we just change the name of our team to MP3 Select or Daddy Ballers or something? That's what I call it, the Daddy Ballers.
Cute.
But I'm doing the Daddy Ballers from 6 to 12, and I'm doing MP3 Select as an older age because it's more,
Competitive.
Yeah.
Sounded. And so these other little fundraising teams, yes, that's what they are. They're paying me to wear my stuff, but I'm not trying to overcharge people like, other organizations in the country. I'm trying to do it fair, and I'm trying to help promote some kids that might not have been able to be seen on a level because of, maybe they just weren't popular enough or money or whatever. And I was like, these are good people that I genuinely like. And I've met a lot of these coaches. They're good with kids. The parents are happy. These teams have stayed together for a long time. And I'm like, yeah, let's start doing this. So now I'm building this organization from all over the country, and it's like growing. And I haven't really. I started an Instagram page called the MP3 Daddy Ballers, and it got some following, but I haven't really posted anything yet.
Yeah.
But I'm getting ready to, probably in April, to be like, here's kind of what we got going on. And right now we're at about 12 teams, and it looks like at the end of this year, there's going to be a whole lot more. And so this could be like I think it's going to work. And so my thought is like, well, you do all these videos, which accidentally became informative over the years, which I didn't think that was happening because I was just venting about my life. And then it was like, well, what are you going to leave as you're like, hey, what happened? Well, there's a new organization started up called MP3. So, well, how'd that get started? Well, it's 2034 now. And then this dude did these videos back in the day, and he kind of told it how it was. And now he's got a really fairly priced, well-ran organization with a bunch of good people involved on how travel ball needs to be done the right way. And then I'm doing, videos still here and there for other companies, and stuff. And then yeah, it's a lot of work.
You have a busy schedule. That's crazy.
I feel like I need to take a moment and just
just
comprehend
digest
all the
everything.
things that
There's
just
so
happened.
much.
It's a lot. And
You've grown a lot since we've met you, for sure.
You've grown a lot, and I have to say I'm so happy for your because obviously as a coach, and I'm sure your wife knows, like, it's not easy being a coach. But then I think it's great that you are taking your audience and like the connections and networking that you've done over these years, and you're like, you know what, let me put this into play, literally, and help these kids out.
I'm constantly at tournaments throughout the country, and it's not just it's literally from Florida to California, and I'm watching these teams. I'm thinking, man, that kid's pretty good. And nice to meet you. Man, there's a really good kid there. Hey, man, so you're making these connections, and you're like, well, what are you gonna do? I got, after a while, it was like, see y'all later, and then I was like, I was like, what if you just got them all involved a little bit? Because my thought with me is I've never been living today. I've always been like, God, how do you keep this going? I'm trying to be 2-3 years down the road. It's like, what are you going to do? Because everybody's a baseball comedian now on social media, and everybody does. It's like, oh, and I see my videos for other people, and I'm like, yeah, where'd you get that from? And I was like, I'm not going to be the influencer because I'm not 20. I'm 41. So, my God, I've done everything. And I'm still trying to chime out other things, and people will comment like, "You already did that one. I already seen this," and I'm like, "Oh, what do you want from me? I'm just editing things on a toilet, just trying to push them out so I can go to the next tournament in Florida, you know." But I've been able to really help, Grand Slam, working with 2D Sports. I've been talking with a lot of the other big ones. Had a really productive meeting with the owners of PG and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, man, I think I'm on my own deal here. I just want to work with good people. I don't care if I deal with 6 different bat companies. It's fine. I have one team wanting bomb bats and another one wanting soldier tank, and I love the Axe Bats dudes. It's cool. So if you like it, fine. It's like, so it's not an issue, because I'm not trying to be like, you can only be here on this thing. I mean, I got a
Right.
Ballpark from America shirt on and an MP3 bat. I partnered with them too. I'm excited about that.
So now, are
Then,
you coaching your son's teams like exclusively, or did you hire somebody to coach that team?
I pay. All right. So there's like 8 right now. We're doing eight. Oh boy, somebody just texted me, and that was a cool.
Tell me
that
who-
was a cool text. Uh,
You can tell us. You can share. It's
Hey, I was
fine.
gonna call it.
We'll talk about that later.
So I have been paying, based on, we're gonna go to about eight tournaments this year. Not a ton of tournaments because I kind of got this going right at the area of, oh my gosh, a lot of these teams already had their schedules made.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, let me just sprinkle in some tournaments at different age groups throughout 2025, and then bring a few of my teams at the same tournament. So then I was like, let me get some. I'm not going to coach 18 different age groups. So I was like, well, let me just get a bunch of people involved that I've met along the years who I think are good people that I can trust, that I don't need to stand over top of them. I got a couple of people out here in Kentucky that I genuinely care a lot about, not just for coaching, but tournament directors and whatnot, because I'm getting involved with tournament directing a few tournaments. And because if it's like, for instance, you go to some of these things that I'm at, when there's issues, they're like, hey, Mark, come out here on the field. Can you handle this? I'm like, yeah, I got you. And I'll walk out like, what are we doing here, guys? They're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then the light, it's a lighter, atmosphere. And so I'm starting to see the positive effect that I have really from just being nice and fair. And I was just some dad who didn't.
Yeah, but I think
I
you're
didn't-
also very transparent. There's
Yeah.
you're never
Well, Howard
no
Stern,
one
I
ever
don't
is
know.
like, no one's ever like, man, what is he thinking?
Yeah.
Like,
They know.
we know.
They know
Oh,
where
yeah,
they stand with you.
I think about things like 100 different ways.
So then they just play for you, but then they go there on other teams. Like, are they exclusive
Yeah.
to you? No.
So I've gave their coaches the schedule and said, here's kind of what I'm looking at. I said, I'm not trying to pull any of your kids. I've even talked to people here in my hometown. I said, I'm not trying to pull any kids off of your team. I said, but 2026, come, April, May, we need to figure some stuff out, because I'd like to take this team, not just this team, but probably the 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16, and just be like, these are your teams now. Here's the tournaments we're going to, and they're all going to be high level. And then, we're going to be kind of evaluating the other teams that, I've got involved. And look, if some of them kids are starting to stand out, I'd be like, here's your chance. I'm going to bring you out here to this PG, event in Nashville or Phoenix or wherever we decide. Like this year we're going to Lake Point, Ballparks of America. There's a bunch of PG stuff involved in there. There's about 8 tournaments total, and it's not conflicting with any of their stuff. Because certain ages you've got a middle school and high school going on. I actually coach our middle school team out here, which is from like March, April, and May, and so nobody's really going to be playing anything until around June, and so I can kind of pick some of them kids up in the summertime, and I've just been like, we're just building that team. Like, it's been cool because like we've kept like the core together, and they're all from everywhere else. So that when they see each other, like, what's up, man? And like you can see they're all swimming together now. They're all walk around the hotels together. And you're like, finally, it's working. Because when you see that, it's like that's what's good. But
And the parents all get along. The parents are happy.
yeah, that's me. That's me and my wife being like, who are we gonna invite? Okay, this one's like this. This one does this. Will that one get along? Okay. So what I did on my specific team is I made sure that every kid on that team kind of had a buddy. And I've also let my friends out here in Kentucky, I've used those tryout teams to bring some of these kids that I know personally why don't you come here and just see this level of what it's like when you've got, 12 kids around you who are all major level players. Now you can see what it's like what it's like being me outside of our area. Because in my area, I don't think nobody realizes what it's like outside of here. I didn't know what it was like. I didn't know, I showed up at, wherever I go, it's like, oh my gosh, like this is a lot of people in your face. You're here in Kentucky, you don't see that a lot because everybody knows me, and so I've been able to get some friends of mine involved who I'm thinking, okay, well, because I got about 30 kids or so that are around the 13 and 14 U age that I kind of can pick from if they can or cannot be there. And then, and now I'm getting involved more with, 9, 10, 11, 12, age groups and stuff. And then we're looking at, I've even got my daughter's boyfriend and some of his buddies helping coach because they're soon to be D1, college players. And when they're off, it's nice to have 16, 17, 18-year-olds around because like they don't need to see some old man running around there, me. It's nice to be like, this is your next level. There's too many levels to travel ball and people don't see it, I don't think, as much. And I've had the privilege or whatever to be able to see it at different levels from single A to national, rec ball and all that. And I think if you just know where you're at, the tournaments that I go to, they're not the ones, some of them aren't crazy high level. I'm not going to bring a bunch of major kids out there just go beat up on people. I'm going to have it very, fair, but I'm out there looking at certain kids to be like, hey, you really could play at that level now. I'll call you after this is over. I'll speak to their parents. Hopefully he had a good time. Everybody's happy here. Cool. Would you like to come out to Space Coast next month? And here's what I can do. I've talked with Hilton. I've talked with some of these things. Oh, it's expensive. Yeah, I think I can help you out with this. I've got some good people involved that don't mind, doing that stuff. And I've just tried to associate myself with really good people from day one. I'm really good at just adapting to different types of people. And I've had a lot of different jobs. And I've been around a lot, and I've always tried to fit into each crowd that I was at. I never was the guy where it's like, well, I like, working out. I'm only going to hang out with the gym guys. No, man, I was into Marilyn Manson and wore chain wallets and skateboarding when I was in 8th grade. And I love Elton John, and I can play the piano, So I've got that's just the start of it. I sat the bench a whole lot when I played sports, but I looked really good when I walked into a gym because I was kind of in shape looking. So it was like, dang, pick that dude up to play. Oh, he's going to be a shooting guard. And then I go airball a bunch of stuff. They're like, hey, go sit the bench. And I'm like, dang. But I was funny enough to be like, hey, man, appreciate y'all. I get it, And that's how I looked at kids whenever my son was little. I showed up and I was thinking, wow, everybody's like, we were starting at like, 5 and 6 years old. And it was like, everybody was so competitive, and then at the end of the day, they'd be like, well, they're just kids. They're just 7. And I'm like, well, then act like it, because you're not. And you're
Right.
saying, and,
What's coming
and
out of your
everything's
mouth?
always,
What's coming out of your mouth is not matching with your actions.
no. And I was the only one being like, quit. And I was doing the same stuff at these tournaments, just without the phone. So it was just me, and I was doing the same mom stuff. I'd be like, look at her over there being like, oh my God, like they need more money for this fundraiser. And I'm like, well, okay, don't do it. I don't know. Like, sorry. And then it's like, why did she ever, why is her
It's
kid
real
staying the night
life.
with
That
you?
those conversations happen.
Yeah, but it's
Oh,
funny
yeah.
because
Yeah,
it's
did you see
true.
he was invited to the birthday party? Well, they didn't talk at all last year. Now they're riding to the games together. Like, what's going on there? Look where her kid's batting in the lineup. But it's like, I'm just sitting back being like, because everybody's different. And then, you get the bad kids, and then you've got, the gross kids, and then the single parents and the smokers. I mean, you got everybody. And I was just kind of in every little buddy's group because I was cool with it all. And it still kind of got thrown up in my face. They were still like, well, you're a daddy ball player. I was like, well, my kid didn't even say nothing. He kept getting screwed the whole time. And we didn't care. We were just like, well, screw it. You happy? You having fun? Yeah, all right, cool. Well, if you go to this team, you might play here, and you might like this better because I think it's a little more organized. Now you're getting older, you probably need to learn that. So then my thought was, well, you're going to have different bosses. You're going to have different girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever. You got to know what it's like to be out of your element. What's it like when you show up at a showcase when your kid's by himself and doesn't have any friends? That was hard for him for a while. We kept doing it, and then he got better at it. Now he shows up, it's like, what's up? Yeah, and it's like, cool. The kids that throw fits, they grow out of that. I knew that was coming, and so but you could see the talent in some of them, and everybody would hate on them. We'd sit around here in the garage and talk about all these kids like they were just awful, and then they'd show up, be like, "Hey, how are you all doing? Oh my God, he's getting so big!" And we just, and my wife, the thing about it was what worked out good is that we've got a very good divide. My wife was the athlete. My son's the athlete. They're a lot alike. And then me and my daughter are the loud ones who ain't real good at sports. You're gonna know we're in a room. So it's not a bad balance to have it. And you don't learn that day one. It takes time. And I always tell everybody, if this thing happened to me when I was in my 20s, you'd be talking to a whole different Mark Paul right now. It's just like I've really tried to make this as successful as I can, because no matter what you do, you're going to have a lot of negative stuff and a lot of there's lying everywhere, and then people are saying things about you. You're like, man, it's like not even true. Like I didn't do that, and a lot of things you hear or read, you got to just let it go. I don't want to have arguments with people. I want to keep my platform PG-13, even though this year it's going to be a little more pushed into the higher level of that 13, because I'm starting to post some of the stuff that I didn't get to post before, and I'm like, screw it, I'm gonna do what I want now, and I'm not hurting nobody. I have to do this because this is my job now.
Yeah, but you got to show that behind the scenes, because I feel even with us, when we first started, there was a lot of like negativity just from moms. Like, oh, well, why are you doing that? And like, what are you going to gain from that? And what, just by
Yeah,
us starting the podcast and putting
yeah,
ourselves out there, so many people, like we've had people from Japan, we've had people from Texas, people we don't even
yeah,
know, and they're like, oh my gosh, I totally get it, I understand. And I think it's important to also show the sides that aren't as fun, because that's
yeah. But
the
nobody
truth of
cares
it.
about that. And I tried to do that. Honestly, I've tried to do things outside of baseball. I try to talk to people in these podcasts just to let them know, like, oh my gosh, like all anybody sees is, wow, he posted a video, it got 1 million views, he's now a millionaire. No.
No, that's not how it
That's not
works.
like how it works.
But jealousy is a thing. Like, oh well, of course his kid gets to go play at all this stuff. He gets to play everywhere for free. No, I buy bad. I bought 2 pairs of Bruce Bolts for Christmas. I didn't call them and say, hey, give me some free stuff. But I know a whole lot of influencers that do that.
Yeah.
I did sweet talk Pocket Radar a year ago and said, hey, and they sent me out of Pocket Radar. But no, you're still going to get the negative stuff. It's not a lot, but the stuff that's negative is awful. And like Amanda said to me earlier today, she was like, because there was a few comments popped up on some videos, and you see them pop up, and some people like some things, and it's like, well, they like that comment, but they can't like the video, and that affects other people. I did get bothered by that, a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't care no more, because it's like I got too much stuff going on to worry about some troll on the internet, and you find, and it's usually some people but I haven't changed at all. Like I've been the same person
You're
forever. I've been the same person since grade school. Like I can't believe I'm 41. And I bought Jordans the other day. I couldn't
Look
afford
at
them when I was
you.
younger. I was pumped about that. I still can't afford them, but I finally got them. I mean, I'm still that kid. I got a Fast and Furious car in the driveway because I'm obsessed with Paul Walker and Vin Diesel. I mean, I've tried to just when they said don't change in the yearbook, I said all right. So
Yeah.
keep in touch. Yeah, it was me. But yeah. I told you I was gonna shut up in this podcast.
No, we love it though. This is you. This is you. This is why we brought you on. We wanted to hear about all the
But
good things.
it's been a lot. It's been really good though. Like these last few months, really 6 months, has been really good, and it's been stressful from taxes and money. But I know I can see that 2025 is probably going to be a really good year because it's organized. And everyone's involved now, and everybody kind of knows their role. And Amanda's been really cool with helping with scheduling, and she's like, hey, "We'll be here at this and this and this," and then I'm getting my stuff together, stuff.
We're
So
so
and
proud
my
of you,
daughter,
Mark.
I'm trying.
We are proud of you, and we're very happy that you always take the time to come and chat with us and keep us up to date. And I think you're always, I love, one thing I have to say I love about you is that you're always involving and you're always trying to make things better. I'm excited about this this program that you're
I am too.
establishing. I really am. Like, I'm pumped
I don't.
and
That's very. So digging more into that. I brought a group of kids to East Cobb when they were 11, and I didn't realize how popular I was in the travel ball world until that week. My family was there. I had friends there, and then people knew me, and the teams were loaded, and it was just like wow, and it was dramatic and awful, and oh my gosh, the stories. Well, eventually, I've actually have videos of those stories. They will be coming out about you parents, and I will change the names to protect the innocents, but I wouldn't change it because I sound like that dude. I wouldn't change anything. No, I really wouldn't because 2 years, the day after that, Amanda and I sat around and was like, how do you make it work? How do you do this again at a bigger level? How do you profit off of it? How do you make it look like you're not trying to just take money from everyone? How do you keep it fair? How do you keep it fun? How do you? Because everyone's like, you're gonna make travel ball great again, and you're no, 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 you're the Donald Trump. I did a shirt that said that, make travel ball great again, and people were like, I can't believe you're a Trump supporter. I'm not following you anymore. And I said, wait a minute, and then I came out with, we all get participation medal trophies. We're the same. So, but for 2 years we sat around, really three, and we were like, well, how do you do it? And so we went down a list, and we're like, here's all the people we want involved. And then that just started growing and growing, and then it was like, well, let's not just go balls to the walls and take them to these higher level tournaments. Let's start smaller again and just get to know some people and let the kids get to know and see if it's going to work. And you meet some good people on the way, like my guys in Tennessee, and they've been a big help, and so we kind of hooked up with them, and yeah, like this is. I think this really is going to be one of the biggest. I think it really could be one of the biggest organizations in the country over the next 10 years or so. I mean, it's not going to happen tomorrow, but like I've had some pretty big organizations reach out, multiple ones, and say, "Hey, listen, we're thinking about leaving." And I'm not talking about some random coach. I'm talking about some high level corporate people that said, "We're done with this. What are you doing?" And I was like, "Well, here's kind of how it is." And they were like, we'd sure like to bring 2,000-3,000 of our kids over. And I'm thinking, all right. And so that's all talk. A lot of people talk, and they're full of crap in this kind of space. I'm sure you've learned that. I mean, I know, everybody's a car salesman, and I kind of see through it. I've been good. I know the best thing I know is just how to relate to people, and I kind of tell. I'm pretty street smart. So I kind of tell who I need to be working with, and well, that's the reason I'm on this podcast with you all. You all were cool. I mean, y'all showed up in Texas and said, "Hey, we like you, and we'd like to do some work." And it was still chaotic then. Even the stuff with my business partner stuff. We were still trying to figure everything out. But I figured out how we didn't know how to merge the two companies together. I was selling sunglasses with MP3. I was selling with Solero. How do you merge them? We figured it out. Okay, how do you keep MP3 going? How do you keep the videos going? Do you need to keep the videos going? What are you going to do when you're 50? You can't still keep having these because, let's be honest, those videos are geared towards 6 through 12-year-olds. Once you get in 14 land, it's a whole other world. And then the levels of it are different. Like, the rec ball is a lot different than major. There's no speakers involved in major travel ball no more. Nobody cares about that, Nobody's whining about money. Nobody's whining about fundraisers. Just paying it because they're the rich parents that can afford it. Let's be honest. And so they spend money all year round to let their kids play. And I've just, you try and figure out where you're at in the travel ball space. But it's not even just travel ball. It's just youth sports in general. And another thing, it's getting crazy now because of like NFL and NBA and everything, all that. Then it gets down to the college level. It's NIL deals. Well, now it's in the high school level. And now it's in the youth level. Because I know kids that are getting flown around the country at 11 to play baseball. And they're not, I'm doing it. Honestly, I just told you I did it. But I would like to give certain kids, like there's a kid that I, care about a lot. And like, his mom reached out and she was like, listen, I don't know about this. And don't you worry about it. Talked to a few other guys. I said, we're going to make that happen because this kid is one that the world needs to see. And you'll never know who that is, but he's on my team and I love this kid and I can't wait to see him because, oh my God, is he good? And I'm going to promote the crap out of that dude. And I hope to God one day he makes it somewhere, and and then I put them Soleros on him, and he's playing for the New York Yankees. I'm like, remember that day I hooked you up with your mom? Remember, put them damn sunglasses on.
Yeah.
But it's a good way to get good people involved and help everyone's businesses out, and help some families out. And then I try to do the fundraising stuff and give back, but you don't post about that stuff. It's weird. So but so to
No,
it
I love it. And so like with your families now that you've like established with all these teams, what do you think, like, for me, when we're looking at teams and obviously our boys play together, to me the parents are really important. Like,
yeah.
because you are with them a lot of times. So
It has a cult, isn't it? It's like a,
it
the
is
little
It is.
though.
it
You just
is a,
find
yeah,
your
you gotta
people.
live it to understand it. Yeah.
But you find your people and that's who you're
I
spending your
know.
weekends with, and the next thing you know they're like coming up, like
I'll
you.
say this. I don't know who I know that'll watch this, but I mean to tell you, every single team that my kids played on, we've had the best times with those people. Like when we were there, I mean, it's so much. Even the drama. It's what's cool about it is that
Even the
we
drama.
were with some of the families recently in Florida, and some of the families that we haven't seen in a while. And a lot of the parents out there, and just, y'all, I'm just kind of making some of this sound good for the podcast. It's not about you exactly, but let's be honest, Fallon, I'm talking about you. So it was cool to be with them because well, they're all kind of grown up, and a lot of people get kind of crapped on by word of mouth, and it's not fair. I'm one of them, and to see it kind of come full circle again, we're with some of them again. It was so much fun. The kids are good. It was like, look at us, here we are again, And now that group of us, even out here in Mount Washington, uh, a lot of those videos obviously started from Jalen when he was playing at a younger age. But let's be honest, it hit everyone across the country. But those same parents are now back with us in middle school, and I'm coaching them now. But it's it's really good being with them, and I don't talk to them a ton like I used to, but it's fun, and we low key kind of pick them back up where you left off a little, and I know some of there's negative things here and there, but I let it go. I don't care. The kids are good. I like the kids. I see them all the time. Still, they're cool with me and stuff. But I've enjoyed watching them all grow, and their voices all getting deeper now and stuff, and all get girlfriends, and I'm trying to just I'm just trying to be somewhat decent to people. That's it. That's all it comes down to. Is just trying to be a normal human being. And actually, funny, the text that came in was one of my son's coaches, and we had a little falling out. And I kind of glanced at it when it popped on my screen, and it looked like it was pretty good text. And I was actually really happy to see that. And so I'm gonna call him when I get off here because I've been thinking about that dude. But yeah, no, and that right there just goes to show you, just people get aggravated, and then time goes on, they forget about it. I mean, I couldn't tell you right now some of the drama that we had at 8, 9, and 10, 11. I'm sure all kind of them kids were throwing a shit fit on that mound. Excuse my language. And we all were giggling about it and being like, well, you know why, and now it's like, does it matter anymore? I don't
Yeah.
care. Hell, I would have been the same way on that thing. And my kid's got his own quirky stuff, and I get it. And they grow up, and it's just kind of like, it's funny now looking back at it. That's how I look at things. I can't hold grudges, so.
We love that about you.
But I
For
also
sure.
think when you get into that travel ball world, you meet so many people. It is a lot of fun. And then you also make those lasting friendships, like from random people that you would never think
Yeah,
about. And I love it. I really do love it.
yeah.
It is a bad rap sometimes, and obviously it's not always fun, but I love it. I mean, we met
I do
you.
too. I wish people, a lot of people from the outside don't realize how good it is. It is fun. Like I mean, how much some of these the dinners afterwards. You have the get-together. I mean, the laughs. I mean, I've had some real fun drunken karaoke nights with some of my parents. Yes, a lot of garage talk, and now it's different because it's over, really. And but I'm at this higher scale of it, and you're not just dealing with those. I'm dealing with people all over the country now, and now and that's a whole other world because you're dealing with people. You're dealing with people outside of your state, but it's different in other states. the way people act, you know. I mean, I got some friends in Louisiana that it's like, wow, like you treat people like that, huh? And that's just the norm out there. And it's
Really?
very different from redneck Kentucky where I live, where no one wears shoes and dip spits all day long. Like, so it's and that's kind of where the comedy thing kind of come into play with me. I always wanted to do stand up, but stand up's not always going to work at you know the southern part of this country versus the northern part. So I've been able to use content and just have conversation. Even with you all, I've been kind of like, if it works, if I'm hearing the laughters, I'm like, okay, remember that, bring that up, at the stand up thing and stuff. So
Yeah.
I try and relate really well to people and just kind of get on the same page and hopefully they know at the end of the day, they're like, listen, this dude's just a pretty solid dude. He's not, I don't have no extra ulterior motive. If anybody, honestly, I'm probably the number one daddy ball coach ever because I'm the one who's figured out a way to be seen all over the country. But I haven't promoted my son, I haven't shoved him out there a lot. I've started an Instagram page with him, and I want him to do it on his own because he gets screwed because of me. People like to comment on him. But he's a
Like
good
almost
kid.
to like they expect a different standard because he is your son.
Well, he's good though, and like, but he's a quiet. I don't care if I strike you out or hit a home run. Good. It's just where's my phone and why is it not charged right after the game? Why is the Wi-Fi not working? But man, you just threw a no hitter, dude. Like he was like, oh, man, you don't know how good you are. And he's like, huh? And you're like, God. And if it was me, I'd be like, did you guys just see what I did? Now my daughter's like that, and she'd be. I mean, she was out there playing rec ball, yelling at everybody, and she had no idea what she was doing. She was like, she got balls going on her legs. She's striking out, but you still think she was the number one, and that's how I was, And but Jalen and Amanda, man, they're just like. I told Jalen the other day, I was like, this may not last. I said, this ain't gonna last. I was like, you'll play in high school, you'll play probably here and there in college. And he was like, I ain't gonna go to the MLB. And I was like, I doubt it. I don't know, probably not. And he was like, well, then what's all this for? And I was like, well, then go get it, buddy. And that's his 90-year-old mindset. And so, but I keep it. We're cool with him. We leave a lot up to him, and stuff. And that goes down to you can't coach every kid the same way you coach your own. Jalen's 90 years old, but there's a lot of different kids out there that don't respond to that. Some of them ones are more aggressive. They're louder. They're why am I not playing in that position? He don't care where he goes. And I think it's good to play multiple positions for a long time. Because that's what all the MLB coaches and college coaches that have coached told me. So I figured, well, they probably know I better listen to them. So, but that's it. I mean, yeah.
I love it.
We love it. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to meet with us. We love connecting with
Yeah,
you
I love it. I'd
and
like to
staying
do
in
this
touch.
anytime y'all want. I
Yeah,
appreciate you having me.
of
I felt like
course.
I didn't shut up the whole time, like I told you.
But we love that. That's why we wanted you here. We
People,
told you it was going to be the Mark
people
Paul
do
show.
like that. They're like, at least there's no dead air,
That's why I had to know. I'm like, does Amanda get this all the time? Is she just like, oh my God, don't
I
talk
never
to me?
shut up. She's told me before. She's been like, just stop talking. She was like, "Her-
Just stop it.
Well, we appreciate you, and we're so excited for what 2025 has to offer.
Yeah.
And
Appreciate that.
We're cheering from you all the way from Orlando.
I know
absolutely,
y'all. I appreciate everything. Y'all have been cool, and if I can do anything, whatever I got, if you're interested in, let me know. Look at I got schedules on my MP3 baseball website, and the Daddy Baller schedule or MP3 Select schedule's coming out. So
we'll
keep
connect.
an eye on
We'll
it.
come.
You know,
We'll
and
come
I'll-
see you.
Yeah.
We'll connect
I
when
will
you're.
be. I promise you, I will 100% be in Orlando around Thanksgiving. That's a good tournament out
Yeah.
there. It's literally right after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people can go to, but that's fun. So
That's a
I'll
fun
be
one.
in Orlando, I'm sure, in November and December.
Yeah.
Probably
Now, we'll
twice.
plan a trip to Panama City when you're here in Florida. We'll visit you.
Yeah, that's the first. It'll be session one. It's huge. If you get your team in it, that's a good. Have you ever been there?
No, I don't think our team has
No.
been
You
out there.
need-
No.
Don't listen. Get your team in that tournament for the session 1 week. It's the best one. The hotels are cheaper that week, and there's so many people. It's so many. We play one baseball game a day, and then you're on the beach, and Publix is great. Visit PCB public sports. It's public sports park.
Yeah.
Not the grocery. The
Oh, I
grocery
was like,
store is
oh,
good.
the grocery store. The stuffs are great. I know.
Oh,
Perfect for
yeah.
the beach.
No, it's the public sports park. It's an all turf place in Panama City. It's 20 minutes from. I mean, it's right there.
Yeah.
And I know all the good restaurants. I bet I was there 6-7 times last year. I'll be there 6-7 times this year. I got friends of mine that have charters that are travel ball coaches that I can hook you all up with and stuff, and they'll take you all out fishing and you have to go to that. That's a big one. I mean,
We'll
it's
connect
hot,
and we'll do that for sure because that
the
sounds
party
like
is
fun.
fun, and there'll be a lot of influencers, people running around, and Grand Slam puts on a really good event. So does Ballparks of America.
There you go.
And 2D Sports do too.
We love that.
Solero Shades and MP3 Baseball.
Do all the shout outs. We love it.
Well, we love it. Thank you so much for coming on the Sports Mom Playbook.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate you. Bye, Mark.
Yeah, I appreciate you too, guys. Happy New Year, y'all.
You too. Bye. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you liked this week's episode, feel free to comment, like, and subscribe and share with your other friends. Talk to you soon.
And now here is our mom highlight of the week with one of our MVP players. Enjoy.
Ready? All right. What do you want to be when you grow up?
MLB star.
What is your mom's favorite color?
I don't know.
What is her favorite food to cook? What does she like to do in her free time?
Work.
What is one special thing about your mom that she does for you?
She makes me food.
What is a funny thing your mom says sometimes?
Damn, bruh.
What is a really important lesson your mom has taught you?
Don't give up.
What is your favorite snack your mom packs for baseball?
She don't always pack snacks.
What is your favorite thing to do with your mom?
Go to the movies.
Can you tell me a story about a time your mom was really proud of you?
When we won the championship in T-ball,
Who's your favorite baseball player?
Ellie De La Cruz.
What can you hear your mom yelling at you from the stands at a baseball game?
Go.
If your mom could be any animal, what would she be and why?
A gorilla, because she loses her temper.
What is your mom's favorite holiday and why?
Christmas.
And what makes your mom laugh?
Me.
Good. Awesome. You did great, bud.